there is Polyboost with which you can trace, and even in the recent Max versions they have just put the options already embedded in Max only. You don't need any plugins. So we have traced these two versions and then unwrapped it. As you know, unwrapping is a very boring process. So how many of you are 3D artists over here? So you must be known that unwrapping manually a model is a very boring and time consuming process. So here also used several tools. There are several tools available these days, like there is Unfold 3D, where you can just click one button and the model will be unwrapped precisely and in very less time. So after unwrapping, we will make the diffuse texture. Now here again, we will not spend much time because we have spent our time in the high-res model. Everything is ready there with color texture. We will just bake the color information out of it. So this is an example how we bake the diffuse map out of the high-res. We just place the low poly over the high poly. Go to render to texture, select all the high-res parts, adjust the gauge, then add the diffuse slot, give the dimension 1024 in this case, and just bake the diffuse map. So it is just a button click and we get a diffuse map texture. So you can make several models with different unwraps, with different poly counts, and we'll just place it over the high-res model and click one button. It will bake the diffuse texture. That was the purpose of making the high-res model first.
Everybody, I hope you can hear me, right? I hope you are enjoying our presentation. I am Kailash Parmar, Senior Environment Artist in UTV India Games and a guy responsible for making those environments. Well, if you have played this game, is anybody over here who has played this game? Thank you guys. Yeah, if you have not played it, do play this game. And do let me know how you like the environment and art and everything. Well, before I go further, all our presentation is all based on art. Okay, India Games had done entire art of this particular game, and nothing technical is covered in this. We got the concept artist from Digital Legend, and then we started making our entire art on this. So I'll be taking this presentation one step ahead after. From character to the environment. Well, and my entire presentation will be revolving around the environment and the pipeline involved in the development process of pipeline. Although I was the only one who was working on this, but there are some aspects why we need environment pipeline to work with. So I'll be discussing that too. The first thing I'll be covering in whatever time I have left with, environment overview of this game. Then I'll be discussing briefly about the making of the environment with respect to one particular level, which is harbor level. And then why do we need art pipeline, and if time permits, some discussion tips or maybe you can say factors which are important while thinking of developing art pipeline. So let's begin with the environment overview. Okay. Now the specification and the concept art view, what we already got. There were this few things, 5 different environment, okay, and to achieve this particular environment I mean compare to the character, which was of very high caliber as far as graphics was concerned, it was a difficult task. So the first thing which I had to start was with the 5 different environment, all with a different location and different look and feel. So the problem with that is I cannot use some assets, so it's a big deal for an artist. Then second problem was 2 versions of each environment. I had to create, or rather I should render a same environment into 2 different versions, maybe day, night, and sunset, and morning, something like that. Then the third constraint is look and feel of China in late 70s. My concept art level has to have a look of China which was in late 70s. Right from statue, lanterns, or clothes which I'm using, I need to take care it shouldn't have a very latest or recent fashion involved. It should look a little old in the era of reflect. And the real-time visual effects like dry leaf falling down, boat wobbling on the ocean, and all those kind of effects were there, bird flying. So this really make game interesting as well as very challenging for me. So this was the first level which I come across. This is a temple yard situated in the mystic and calm mountain of China. This is a place where Bruce Lee learns Kung Fu and he learns to tame his anger. The next is a harbor. This is situated in the, this is a description given to me, right? This is a level which is situated in the crowded docks of Hong Kong, and it is a place for gangsters. This was a tournament hall, a very legal place to fight with, and it's a part of a school again. And this is a small junction of fish and fruit market where illegal fight takes place. And this is the last level, which was a rooftop level. This particular level has its own significance. It is situated in the old part of Hong Kong, but on the rooftop of a high building with a spectacular view of city. So this was all about the environment. The next thing, I'll jump straight forward to making of the environment, and that too with respect to harbor level. Now this particular level is pretty much special to me because this was the first level I made, and I learned a lot about the upcoming or forthcoming hurdle which I was going to face in making all the other levels in Bruce Lee. So the first thing when I started, it was a concept art. Okay, now in game making, or rather environment making, and please understand, environment making means scene making, or level making means same. Okay, so if I really go with the different words, it means the same. Concept art are something which has a lot of detail in it, detail with respect to texture, detail with respect to architectural detail, material, surface texture like reflectivity and all those things. So when I saw this particular concept art first, I was really taken away because this has lots of mood and detail involved in this level. And I was just wondering, how will I start with and what I will miss, what I will leave. So the very first thing I started is I started collecting some reference. I collected nearly like 2,000 or 3,000 reference for each level, rather I should say. Thanks to my IT guy who just helped me out with the space. The reason behind collecting so many images, reference images, is very simple. When you have a concept art with you, you need to visualize it and you need to create a mood which really supports your game. In this case, it was a realistic looking game. So I had an opportunity to collect a photograph of real world. If possible, I have clicked few. Not I have gone to China. Yeah, but I'm talking about the material which I can later on use. So I mean, it's better you collect those images which you can later on use as a material, and later on you can put paint on it. And the most important part, it should be very close to your concept. Otherwise, it has no meaning. You will deviate from the thing you want to make. Second thing which I introduced in this environment pipeline was a blueprint. I'm pretty sure many people really forget using this kind of thing, but this is very crucial when you are making a level. This gives you an isometric view or a top view of all the assets or all the objects you are going to make in the environment. For this particular level, you can see there is a sea, there is a dock, there is two boat A, B, and C, and all the different color given to the boat with which I will understand how much detail I should carry on with with respect to objects. Once that is done, go and analyze the technical aspect of your game. For me, in this particular game, I had a 3D unit set up to be fixed as per the with reference to character, because I don't want it to end up making a small character in bigger level, or maybe a vice versa. Then a polygon limit, 7,000 tries was a big challenge to make entire level with such a detail, but still it was a constraint, so I had to go with it. And then you got texture resolution. I can only use 4 texture of size of 1024. Maybe I can break them into 16 and then use it as a 512, but this was the only number of texture I can use. Our entire environment, including sky, has to be put inside this particular size. And then the format should be in TGA, and you can use alpha for FX and all those things. So let's start with it. I'll be typically giving you one small object as a reference for the level model. I can't give you entire level, and go and call. I can do it for days and days, but you guys will run away. So modeling high poly game model. In this, there is a combat board. This particular board has a very simple this thing. It has a flat roof where a fight will take place, and it has a hut towards the end, some luggage and barrel attached to it. And so this was the concept art. I started making the high poly model as a separate object. All the object inside the high poly, inside one particular object was modeled separately. The fun part of this is you can also, you have to unwrap it, right? So it's better you keep them as a separate model, combine them to make one big model. Don't worry about the high poly, I mean to say polygon limit right now, but at least try to keep a fair amount of meshes. You can't end up, using too many meshes. You just need to get the shape and the silhouette of your concept. Once it is done, go ahead and unwrap it. So this is the way a fair amount of mesh helps up. If you end up using too many meshes, it's difficult to unwrap otherwise. Once your unwrapping is done, you can go ahead and do some basic texturing on it. You can get the color and the feel, some kind of little bit textures of metal sheet, some wood, some clothes, roof. Once you are done with this, there is a technique which every artist will be very much familiar with. You are multiplying the occlusion map with the diffuse map and getting the final output. You can see the map in the extreme right has a much more deeper detail compared to the first. So this is how all the and this really infuses the skylight inside your texture. So once it is done, this is my final high poly model. Okay. Although it looks a little low poly, but let me remind you, I am making this game with 7,000 tries limit, and I am making it 5 on an iPad, so they are constrained. Next, start making all the other high poly model you want to make and go ahead with it. In this case, you can see there is a sailing boat, there is a fishing boat, some tourist kind of boat, and also a floating boat, like a floating hotel, I can say, a sea palace now. Some more small detail props which are going to lay around towards and around your player. Once you are through with it, the next step is building up your environment. Okay, now till now I have just made all the high poly and textured them. So the next thing is I'm going to create water and sky dome, which is obviously my mesh. Then add some detail work, bigger mesh with a medium raise mesh, and then all the low raise mesh. You are going to add some more detail to make it look richer. In the end, some light to it. So that's my high poly level ready. Now this is not the end, this is just the beginning. After that, it's really advisable that you go ahead and do some renaming, because nobody likes to save your file with the name object01, object02, and line and all those things. So you better rename it, and the simple naming convention we follow is xyz underscore abc underscore hp and prop name. Now what exactly that means is simple. xy will stand for your name of your game. In this case, it was a BL, 3 initial of my game. I just used 2. And ABC is name of your level, and HP and LP depends upon high poly and low poly respectively. The last part is a prop name, whether it is a tree, it's a sailing boat, whatever it is. Reason behind doing this kind of naming is simple. When you look at the props, you get all the information required for the what props is it and from which game it is. So there is a simple thing, another layering part. It's very wise to organize everything into layers, like your light, your camera, your high poly, and your base, your skybox, everything. It makes easy for you and the people who are viewing it to. It is good to be little organized. Yeah. The next thing is time for approval. Now let me put it. We have made entire high poly level, and I have not spoken about the approval process. So why approval is so essential at this particular part? It's simple. The first thing is change can be done with a minimum rework. Okay, nobody likes to do rework. Being an artist, I hate that thing. I believe if you keep reworking on something, it might kill your creativity one day. So it's and what you get right on one shot is the best thing you can ever get. You can just do some tweak and enhance it. You can just wipe out your mistakes, but still. So this is where you know what your game will look like. So it's better you finish it off with a minimum rework. Next thing, your environment. You see your environment through player's eyes. Obviously, I have done all the modeling, so I have a right to place camera from which my player will see, and then I can go ahead with the perspective. I can see